Welcome back to the YouTube channel, and yes, as you can tell by sitting in this same spot, we're going to talk about fragrance once again. As I said in the fragrance collection video, what we're going to do is we're going to go brand by brand and go through the pieces from that brand that I have, talk about the notes, talk about what those notes communicate, at least for me, and talk about how I would pair them with an outfit, or at least what my thought process is when pairing my fragrance with an outfit, and kind of what the fragrance is communicating, what my outfit is communicating, where I'm going, and how those three things kind of correlate with each other when it comes to me choosing a fragrance. So if you can't tell by the outfit that I chose to wear for this video, the brand in question is going to be Ralph Lauren. So Ralph Lauren is one of my favorite brands of all time, and anybody that's been watching on Instagram or on TikTok will know that I've been wearing Polo Green for a long time. I absolutely love this fragrance. So Polo Green was the first masculine scent introduced into the range by Ralph Lauren. Its aim was to encapsulate the kind of rich heritage and thoroughbred nature of the brand as a whole, and I think it does that very well. Before I go into what the actual notes are, anytime anybody asks me what Ralph Lauren Polo Green smells like, I always say it smells like getting into a really rich old guy's classic car, if that makes sense. If you can imagine pulling open the door, getting in, the smell of that sun bleached leather, there's probably an aroma of cigar tobacco lingering in the air from the cigar he smoked probably a week ago. You can probably smell the leather from his luggage that's been dumped on the back seats, or whatever it may be. That's kind of just where my mind goes. That's the picture that this scent paints in my head when I smell it. And that was always what I said about this scent before I actually went and researched the notes from within it. So the top notes are pine, thyme and basil, and you do get a little hint of that kind of herbal kind of tone throughout. For me, that kind of herbally tone comes later in its wear, as opposed to your initial kind of spritz. The heart notes, as I mentioned, the classic car owned by that really rich old dude, the heart notes are leather, tobacco and tarragon. So as I mentioned, the sun bleached leather, maybe the leather from his luggage in the back, the tobacco aroma still lingering in the air, those are the heart notes of this fragrance, and I think those carry through absolutely exceptionally well. Then the base notes are patchouli. I'm probably butchering half of these, but oak moss. I actually think the oaky, mossy notes in the base really carry through in this. This is a fragrance that people are either going to love it or they're going to hate it. It's either going to be for them or it's not going to be for them at all. There is no on the fence with Polo Green. It's either for you or it's not. Anytime I wear this, a lot of the comments will either be I love it or I hate it. It does very much give that kind of old school heritage kind of vibes. Like, you're probably not going to get a lot of young guys wearing Polo Green unless they're kind of like me and dressed the way I do, and they like those kind of ultra masculine kind of notes. This is probably going to remind you of like what your dad wore, or more so what your granddad wore. So that in a nutshell is Polo Green. And now moving on to Polo Red. So Polo Red for me is a little lighter and a little softer around the edges. It's not as kind of ultra masculine as the green. It's not as kind of rough, if that makes sense. If I was to compare these to drinks, I would compare the Polo Green to an old fashioned, and I'd compare the Polo Red to maybe like a rum and coke. It's a little easier on the palate. So going into the notes of the Polo Red, the top notes are red grapefruit, lemon oil, and cranberry accord. Now, anytime I do anything like wine, whiskey, anything like that, or like I'm doing now with a fragrance, once I read what some of the notes actually are, all of a sudden I can start to recognize them, because it was something that was there that was familiar, but I couldn't put my finger on it. And then when I read it, all of a sudden then I know what it is, and it's definitely that citrus and the lemon that's coming through on that top note, very much so. The heart notes are red, saffron, lavender, and sage. I think the lavender really balances with the citrus in the lemon. It's really, really nice. And then you're getting a little bit of kind of, as I said, to me this is probably like a rum and coke as opposed to the Polo Green being like an old fashioned. And I think the reason for that is there's a little bit of kind of spiciness to it, and that's coming from the base notes, which are redwood, amber, and coffee. Which is absolutely beautiful. So as you know from the videos, I wear either of these very regularly. I absolutely love Ralph Lauren as a brand. I absolutely love their fragrances. So to talk about how I would pair these with an outfit, so the outfit that I'm currently wearing now, I could essentially wear either of these with this. I think they communicate the very same kind of thing, that kind of old money, like, not that I am old money, but like it communicates that old money aesthetic, classic menswear, ultra masculine. I think that the outfit that I'm wearing and that fragrance would both communicate the same thing. So depending on which one of those that I would pick would probably come down to the establishment in which I'm going to visit. So for example, if I'm going to like a nice high-end bar, like a speakeasy kind of high-end cocktail bar, if I was going out for a nice dinner where there's going to be nice wine served, probably having a nice steak dinner or whatever it may be, if you're going to a really nice restaurant and it's late in the evening and it's the more autumnal, wintry months of the year, I'm probably going to go with Polo Green. In terms of the outfit, if I'm wearing things like flannels, wools, if I'm wearing tweed, it's going to be Polo Green. If I'm wearing shorts, if I'm wearing an open collared shirt, like a Cuban style collared shirt, if I'm in a tropical climate, if I'm wearing loafers and linen trousers or seersucker or whatever it may be, I think the ultra musky leather tobacco notes of this don't really communicate with the outfit really well, because the outfit is screaming summer, sun, tropical, probably florals, probably, you know, nice kind of fresh, airy fragrances and scents. That's what the outfit is communicating, when Polo Green is communicating warm, musky, mossy, leather, tobacco, sitting in a cigar lounge type of, like, that's the type of communication that this is giving. So that's why I wouldn't pair those two together. When with Polo Red, you can probably get away with this in terms of like a scent for like a date night, maybe in those autumnal months of the year, a little bit, not as much as Polo Green, but a little bit. But in the summer months of the year, or if you're traveling a bit more of a tropical climate, as I said, say it's linen or seersucker, little things like that, where it's a little bit more tropic and a little bit more kind of airy, I think Polo Red is going to communicate much better with that kind of aesthetic. Like if you're sitting outside at a coffee shop, if you're sitting having an aperitif, if you're having a Negroni or an Aperol Spritz or whatever it may be, I think out of those two bottles, Polo Red is going to communicate that better than Polo Green. When if you're sitting in a cigar lounge, Polo Green is going to communicate better than Polo Red, because the aroma that you're giving off, the fragrance itself, lends to its environment and then lends to your outfit. And I think that's what I'm considering when it comes to what bottle that I pick. So where I'm going will always take priority, and that's how I choose my outfit. And then once I've chosen the outfit and I know where I'm going, then I'll pick the fragrance, because I'll know what I'm trying to communicate, and I'll know by the room I'm going to be in, the outfit that I'm wearing, what I want my fragrance to be communicating, and I want it to lend both to the outfit and to the environment. So all three things then are in harmony with each other, and I think that gives the greatest kind of impact, because it's a really subtle thing that people don't really pick up on unless it's probably on a subconscious level, that they realize like, oh, he's really comfortable in his surroundings here. It's because you're dressed appropriately and you also smell appropriate for the environment that you're in. So that is my kind of review. I guess I wouldn't really say that it's too much of a review, because I own these. One of them was gifted to me and the other one I purchased myself. So I wouldn't really say it's much of a review, because I love them. But I hope this gives you an idea of my thought process when it comes to choosing a scent on a day-to-day kind of basis, depending on my outfit. It also gives you an indication on how I actually choose my outfits on a day-to-day basis. It's all depending on where I'm going to be and what I'm going to be doing. And then hopefully you get an idea of the notes that are within these bottles. And if you want to try these out, like I said in the other fragrance video, do not go online and buy one of these bottles simply because it sounds nice in this video, because I described it well, or I painted a pretty picture, or some of the notes in the bottle sounded appealing. Go try it first. Go to the department store that stocks it, go to a perfumery, wherever it may be. Just look it up on Google and where the closest one to you is. If it's a particular place that won't actually allow you to try it on, they'll probably spray it on a card and then give you the card to smell, which is fine. But ask them for a sample. Generally they'll have tiny little samples that they can give you, and the reason for this is because you can spray it on and wear it throughout the day. So you'll get a good sense of how it wears when it sinks into the skin and mixes with the natural oils that are on your skin, and it'll change ever so slightly. You'll be able to pick up, your own nose will be unique. You'll be able to pick up certain smells and scents that you might not have picked up on initially, but from wearing it throughout the day, the fragrance might change and might adapt, and you might love it a little bit more, you might love it a little bit less, and that'll make your decision making on whether you want to spend the money should make it a little bit easier. So I urge you not to just go out and splash on any of these fragrances simply because of these videos. These videos should urge you to go at least go try them. So please do that first. So that concludes the first of this style of video. Do let me know your thoughts. Let me know if you've ever tried Polo Red or Polo Green. I have tried blue and black. I don't have them in my collection currently, but I probably will be adding Polo Black back into the collection very, very soon, as I am a fan of that one also. So let me know if you've tried them. If you have tried them, let me know if you loved them, and let me know if you would add them back into your collection once they've been used. And if you do actually go out and try it, if you've not tried it before and you do go out and try it, please do let me know your thoughts and your experiences. And also let me know your thoughts on my thought process when it comes to picking an outfit and picking a fragrance, because when I say it out loud it probably sounds a little bit ridiculous, but that's just how my brain works. So I hope you enjoyed this video, please leave a like and a comment below. If you're not subscribed already, please do subscribe to the channel. I am putting a lot of effort into trying to grow this, so it really, really is appreciated. I'll see you in the next one. I love you guys. Goodbye.